Today, I want to talk about having a skills first approach when you are teaching writing. And we're not going to come at it in terms of let's focus on what the essays are and work backwards, which I do often. I talk about backwards planning when I plan out my writing instruction for the year. But this is actually kind of the other direction where we're teaching writing with a skills first mentality. I'm going to go over exactly what that means. And if you're new here, I'm Robin Millum. I'm a children's book author, teacher, instructional coach, and I've made my own writing program called the Structured Writers Workshop. And in this workshop, we are skills first. We are focused on that. And I'm going to show you like the breakdown of how much time you should be spending on that and what you might be missing if you aren't doing it. So let's talk about why a skills first approach. And I am going to use my analogy of basketball because I always do. I played basketball in high school. I love basketball. Um, so I like to think of my writing program as being divided into like three separate chunks of like things that are going to happen. There's the first part, which is the basketball practice. And that's really just everything that we're going to do to lead up to the middle part, which is the essays. And that essays there, they are the games, just like the Lakers playing the Warriors. And then the state testing that the students experience is like the championship game, and it feels a little different. So there's sort of like three big pit stops along the way, and then we kind of repeat it in the essays and everything. But I want to kind of first focus on the basketball practice part of this. And so in that, what I do in my program is I focus on 6 like high priority writing skills, and we work on these on repeat, and we work on them in a really high energy, student-led, really cool workshop that they do every week. And then we kind of chunk them up so that the most time and attention are actually paid to the first 3 skills. And the reason for that is because they're pretty pivotal. I'm not going to cut that out to every other thing that you do. So the skills are, see if I can remember these quickly. Number 1, voice. Second is hooks. Third is sentence complexity. Fourth is figurative language, then vivid imagery, and show, don't tell. And we do it in that order because we get so much confidence and stamina from the voice lessons in there. And you will be able to turn your writers, like if they feel like they are not writers, they can't write. Promise you, if you start doing the voice lessons, their attitude will turn around quickly. It's kind of magical. And that's because they can do voice writing much easier than adults can. We just get really set in our ways when we get older, and it's hard for us to like figure out how to do this, and kids do it naturally. And so then there's a lot of attention that's given to hooks because you don't want to get to this big important paper, right, which is essentially a game, and then at that moment say, oh, by the way, we are going to write a good hook. And it would be like getting to the game and saying, by the way, we have this play we're going to run that we've really practiced this play, but look at it. Here's an example of it. Now you go do it. But even the Lakers need to practice the plays. They have got to practice everything so they get some muscle memory and everything by the time they get there. So if you think of essays as little skill chunks that you can practice beforehand so that by the time you get to that essay, you're simply saying to them, but we've done this before. You've done this, you've done this, you've done this, and we're going to put it all together. So that's part of the skills first focus. Then when you kind of move on to like sentence complexity, that's obviously very important because they're going to use it in every writing piece that they're going to do. So we spent a lot of time on that third one. And then we kind of trickle down to those last 3, which kind of work well for narratives, but they actually do work for other essays too. And I'm going to do a separate video on that, on how the 6 skills can apply to even an argumentative essay or something like that. So then you would think, okay, so you do those 6 skills every week. That's it. Okay, I get it, but that's not it. So the other thing that we do in this area of practice is daily writing, like every day. No getting around it. And it involves daily sentence combining, which the research shows that that's going to give you the most bang for your buck as far as them understanding sentence structure and grammar and all that. It's in the Writing Revolution. It's in the research that I did. I have a video on the science of teaching writing. And so I went and looked up all these articles trying to figure this stuff out. Sentence combining is where it's at. So I like to have the kids do that, just compound and complex up to 6th grade. And then by the time they get to 7th and 8th, you then layer in, okay, now you're also going to do compound complex sentences. And so by the time they get to high school, they have a really, really good handle on all types of really, interesting sentences. They also, they do a quick like grammar multiple choice question every day, but then they do a quick write. And this quick write has like a really fun image or a story starter. And they write a scene. They don't write a story, they write a scene. So they can just do some dialogue or like what's happening in that moment. And it gets them to write quickly, not think too much, and try and get over this idea that I have writer's block. You don't have writer's block. You just need to do the thing, and you need to do it over and over again so that you can get used to, maybe it doesn't turn out so good every day. Maybe it's, like I only did one this week that I really kind of am proud of. That's great because you did 5 of them and now you have something to work with, and now you have something to rewrite if you want to do that in workshop or something. So weekly practice on the 6 skills on repeat throughout the entire year. Daily sentence combining and daily quick writing. Non-negotiable. So that's it, right? We're ready to move on to essays. No, we're not. So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to do CER practice. And I love CER because it means claims, evidence, reasoning. And I replaced like the race writing strategy and all that with this because CER it's easy to remember. It's easier for them to remember what the letters stand for: claim, evidence, reasoning. Part of the problem with race is that the C stands for cite, and that's weird to some of them. Even the word cite starts with a C, and so that throws them off. And then they have to remember, cite means that there's a word that comes after it, which is evidence. Like, it's just too much for them to try and keep in their head. So use CER for like everything. You can use it for a response to literature. You can use it for history, science. You can use it for math. Schools are becoming like CER schools. And so I would practice this. You would want to write a CER response at least 2 times a week in different areas. And it could be something really fun too, where you're just going to give them like a short little passage, and then they have to answer one question about it, but it has to be in the CER format. And if you do it in kind of like with high interest stuff, eventually they will start to get the rhythm of this. And then by the time you get to the essays, you have all this language that you can already pull on. So you've already talked about hooks. You've already talked about all these different kinds of sentence complexity, structure, which is really kind of like the middle part of that introduction to an essay, which is like usually a compound sentence is where it ends up being. Could be complex. And then have we done a hook? Yes, we have. Oh, guess what? The body paragraphs are like CER paragraphs. Have you done CER before? Yes, you have. So now you're ready to deconstruct your student essays. And when I say deconstruct a student essays, what I like to do is I give them samples of the stuff that the kids have written in the past, and you cut the sentences into strips, and then you put labels out, and then they take all these strips and all these labels and stuff, and they try and think, what makes the most sense? Like, just as a reader, just have them think like that. Like, what would I want to read next? What makes sense to me? And then they can start in their mind understanding the order of the essay and why it's important to have this here and not there. It really creates like these really cool conversations if you do them in small groups. And then for the essays themselves, I do these in 10 days. We're in, we're out, then we're done. Like by the 10 days, we're done. And I would change the room. Like, we aren't doing groups or anything anymore. Actually, during the essays, I make it more formal. There was one year where I had everybody turned their desk like toward the wall so that I could stand in the middle and then I could see everybody's computer screen, like in the old days when we had a computer lab. I did that. And so I set up like a computer lab in my room. And so I didn't even have to rely on my screen of like GoGuardian or whatever to see what they were doing. I could literally see. And so then we would do pit stops. And they would have to, I would cover up the slides or not reveal them until they were ready. But if they got their thesis correct and their hook and their introduction and all that, they'd get a sticker or whatever. And then they could move on to the next part. So the feedback that they get is done during the process with you in class. So if you think of it like the most work that I'm going to do with you all on this essay is in the middle of it, while you're doing it, while you're thinking, so that they can kind of see that process of like, what's not working? How are we going to fix this? So that by the time they're done and they turn it in, the amount of comments and corrections or anything that I would do on an essay was like 0. I would give them their points and might say a sentence like, I wish you would have written a conclusion, but we would have already had that conversation because I'm keeping an eye on all their computers and seeing where they're at, and then kind of having an idea of like who needs some help and who needs a student helper to come help you. And you can just kind of manage it better that way. So don't spend a lot of time grading. Spend a lot of time just scanning and then talking and then like jumping in when you need to, or finding student helpers to jump in and help. And then when the 10 days is up, here's the beauty of this, is that the students who were doing the writer's workshop, and if you haven't seen this before, you'll want to dig into like how I run a workshop, but basically there are captains and the students kind of run it. And so what you could do is say, okay, we're going to have another workshop. Your captains are going to lead you. You won't have time to teach another lesson during that workshop because you probably have a few kids who didn't finish that essay or who need more time with you. And this is where you could kind of do that intervention time, but do it in your class to see if you can really scoop up some more kids and get them back on track. Because sometimes, I promise you, if you tell them, okay, you didn't get it done in the 10 days, you're still going to have to work and you'll come back here and work with me while the rest of them just go into workshop and do workshop writing. And you will have a group of them who will be like, okay, I'll get it done. And that motivates them just to go back to workshop time. And that's cool because it kind of like weeds out who it is that you really, really need to work with. So now you can try and get it down to just a handful of kids at the most, while the rest of them aren't just doing fluffy stuff. They're actually doing workshop writing. And they've already practiced this. Remember, practice. We've been doing this as a drill for so long that they know exactly what to do. So finally, when we get to the state test, one thing I like to do, I don't spend too much time prepping them for this big championship game other than to say like, hey, what is our writing program all about? How is it, created, structured? What's a part of it? And you want your kids to actually know what writing programs are. I want my kids to know, well, we practice 6 skills, we do MRIP, we always practice sentence writing, we do CER, and then we do our essays with this deconstruct thing. Yeah, that's how you learn writing. And so if they know in their heads, like, those are the only things that I kind of need to know, well, then there you go. So then, like the day before testing starts, what I have them do is rewrite something that they had written the very first week of school. And they always write something called like a time that I was surprised. And that first week they write it and they're awful. They're like not good. And I'm so glad that they're not good, because then when it gets to state testing time, right before I say you're going to write about a time you were surprised. And surprisingly, a lot of them don't remember that they did this the first week. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, but this, I want you to like really do your best on it. Pull out all the 6 skills, everything we've worked on. Show me what you can do. So they do it and they're amazing. And so the day before testing, I pull up their old one and their new one, and I just set it down side by side. And they freak out. They freak out at the amount of progress they've made through the year. It's so much fun. It's like the best day of the year. And then I just tell them, look how much you've learned. Look at what you know. That's all you have to do on this test is just show them what you can do. And they're like, yeah. And so going into the state test writing portion with just like massive amounts of confidence, that is huge. It makes a huge difference. So if you are interested in the whole writing program, I will just kind of give you guys an update on where we're at with this. The whole, like all the curriculum is getting updated for you all because I want each grade level to have their own separate like lessons and examples so that when you're going up from 4th through 8th grade, you'll have the whole program and you'll understand all the components to writing, but it'll be at your level. And right now, the 8th grade one is up. It's on TPT. These will all go up on my website soon. 6th grade is very soon. It will be up. It might be like within just a few days. Hopefully. We'll see. And then the others will follow and everything will be ready for you by like June. Just look at the date and see what's going on if you're going to go look for one. And then if you purchased my old one, like some of my other big curriculum, you get this for free. You're getting the update. So you need to stay tuned, join my Facebook group if you want to get all the updates. We're doing like monthly Zoom meetings in there. Oh, and we're doing a book study this for the next few months. I'll tell you about that more when we get into it. It's pretty cool. Okay. Thanks for listening or watching, and I'll see you in the next one.